A very good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of Mechanical and Electronics Engineering Department, Medicap University Indore, I, Ram Bansal, welcome you all in today's Alumni Talk, Indian Space Odyssey, Space Research Program of India from inception to present. First of all, I am pleased to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. Dilip K. Patnaik, Pro Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Dr. D.K. Panda, all deans, heads of the departments, all faculty members and students. Medicaps University is one of the brand name in the arena of technical education and is contributing in making Indore an educational hub. Since its inception in July 2000, the group consistently aimed at creating an idea ambience for building technocrats and helping them to grow like true professionals. In year 2015, we got the approval from UGC to be a self-finance university, and admission for same started from 2016. Since then, we have included many courses other than engineering like management, agriculture, pharmacy, design, commerce, science, arts, etc. Till date, more than 12,000 students have been passed out from Medicaps University and are working globally, and more than 7,000 students are currently studying in various programs. As we all are here to attend the alumni talk on Indian Space Odyssey, Space Research Program of India from inception to present. We have with us today's speaker, Mr. Dinesh Amres. Let me take the opportunity to introduce our guest. Mr. Dinesh Amres is a BE in Mechanical Engineering, pass out in year 2004, first batch of MITM, means when we are before Medical University, there is a MITM. So, sir is the first batch student, pass out students. Worked briefly in Medicaps Limited, Pithampur, and Mozarware India Limited, Delhi. Later, he joined Vikram Sarabhai Space Center of Indian Space Research Organization in 2007. He has 14 years of experience in area of product assurance of separation system of launched vehicle and satellite separation system. Presently, he is involved in product assurance of separation system of PSLV, GSLV MK3, and SSLV launch vehicles. I am so much pleased to invite such a personality to have insight on Indian Space Odyssey. Welcome you, sir. Now over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for the nice words. Shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Whether the screen is visible, sir? Can you confirm?
Yes, sir. Visible.
So, thank you for inviting me, for giving an opportunity to interact with the present batch of student in Medicaps University. As sir has introduced, I am the student of first batch of the MITM. Presently, I am working at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Trivandrum from last 14 years. And my area of work is in the field of launch vehicle separation system and the satellite separation system. So when the opportunity was given, I was thinking which area, whether I should take the area where I am presently working or some generic topic. Then I thought it will be a good option that let us start with the how the overall Indian space program started and where we stand today. So with this one, we'll go to presentation. Whether my voice is audible, sir? Can you please confirm?
It's clearly audible, sir.
Yes. So before we go, a small disclaimer. This content is aimed for the educational purpose, and the views expressed are personal and does not necessarily belong to the organization where I work. So this is the outline of presentation. We'll be seeing the how the space age started and how the Indian space program started. What are the contribution from the Dr. Sarabhai? Then when Satish Dhawan took over the chairman of Indian Space Research Organization, what are the contribution done in the earlier stage and the present condition of our launch vehicle and the various important missions which we have completed. So how this, just 1 minute, sir. How the space age started. The first satellite was launched by the USSR on 4th October 1957. And what they have done, they have launched one small satellite named Sputnik. The weight of the satellite was 83 kg. And the purpose of launching this satellite was to study Earth and solar system. And one very important point to be noted here that all this launch vehicle technology started in the developed nation, and wherein they were already having the intercontinental ballistic missile. So the ICBM, they have converted into a launch vehicle and launched the first satellite. And this was the beginning of the space age. But there was already Cold War was going on between USA and SSR and USSR. Now we says Russia. So why this space race is started? The answer lies that already there was a Cold War was going on between these two countries, and space race was just the extension of that Cold War. The purpose of satellite was to study Earth and solar system, and the Sputnik, which was the name of satellite, it was launched in low Earth orbit. The orbit was 230 into 430 kilometers. It was an elliptical orbit. So because of this lower Earth orbit, there the Americans were able to see the satellite in daytime and in the evening time with the help of binoculars. And they were worried that this Russia can use this satellite and rocket technology to launch the nuclear war on the USA. And one more thing was that the general mood in the USA was that we are losing this race of technical superiority. So after the first launch of Sputnik, USA come with their own satellite, but they came next year in the January 1958. But before they launched the first satellite, the Russian came with another launch, and they launched one dog named Laika into the space. And this was their, they launched their first satellite in the October, and second satellite with the leaving being in space. Another next month they were coming in the launch. So they were actually ahead of the USA, and they launched one dog into the orbit. And this was the first living being in the space. Of course, the Laika died after 5 hours in the orbit, and the cause of failure was that there was anomaly in the temperature sensor, and the carbon dioxide in the cabin was higher than the acceptable limit, and Laika died after 5 hours of the launch in the orbit. Of course, there was no plan to bring the Laika back to the Earth, because the mission was planned just to catch up with the USA. So USA they have done many of the first in late 50s and early 60s. They were first to send the men in the space, women in the space, first 3 men in the space, and first spacewalk also on the their name. And they were first to launch the spacecraft to impact the moon, first satellite to orbit the moon, and first to impact the planet Venus, and first craft to soft land in the moon. So if you just see this one, they were ahead of the US, and US were literally worried about this one. So since USA was lagging in this technical race of space race, President Kennedy came up with a bold national goal that if we have to win this race, we should send a man on the moon and return safely on the earth by the end of 60s. And he got support of Americans, and they came up with the Apollo program. So first Apollo 11 mission, they were able to send the 3 human beings on the moon. And Apollo 11 to Apollo 17, there were total 7 missions were there. Apollo 13 could not send the human on the main. So other 6 missions were successful. So they sent Apollo 11, starting with the Apollo 11, and Apollo 17 was the last mission, which was over in December 72. So if you just see the 69 to 72, and within a short span of time, they have achieved a feat which other nations now once again they are thinking. So now if you see today, it is almost 50 years are over. Still after USA, nobody has gone to moon. So why this no human presence was there in after 72? So answer lies that the Apollo program was super expensive, and NASA is a government funded agency. So taxpayer money was going to fund this mission. So general mood of taxpayer was that we should stop this Apollo mission program because it was going from the taxpayer money. And second was that they already general mood of public was that already we have completed the mandate to beat the Soviet Union. So now there is no need further to carry on the Apollo mission. Even though Apollo mission they plan to have further missions also, but because of this funding and other issues, they stopped the Apollo mission. So if you see, Russian were there, they have many first thing on their name. But yes, of course, if we have to say that moon mission, so definitely USA was the winner in this one. So space race was a test of the scientific research because both USA and Russia were competing with each other. So there were a lot of technological superiority research work was done, and both of them have used their own economic resource to achieve these goals. So after 50 years, again NASA is coming with a program named Artemis, and they want to land human on the moon. So this mission is completely different from the last Apollo mission. In Apollo mission, they were able to be there on the moon surface for hours. Now the plan is to have the permanent outpost there in the moon, and for the months or year, they should be able to accommodate the astronaut there. So if you just see the artistic rendering given by this NASA, they have one fundamental habitation is there. Then there is a rover is there. That is a pressurized vehicle through which one they can they can go from one place to another place. There are other rovers are also there. So now they have planned to be there for long time presence. And so twofold moon plan is there. One is to send an initial human landing by the end of 24 and have a sustainable lunar exploration in the late 2020s. And in Apollo program, we have only main candidates. All men was there who was landed on the moon surface. But now NASA wants the female candidate also to be in the astronaut. And of course, the next natural step is that is the to have the historic mission to the Mars. So Moon should provide a platform for further exploration in the planets. So that is their present status, and they are already on the job. And the initial they were started from 2017 onwards, and they are on the track. So we can hope that by the end of 24, we'll have again the first human presence after 50 years. So this was the story of USA, USSR, but what was going on in our own country? So Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, he is considered as a father of Indian space program, and he was from the business family in the Gujarat. He was a physicist, astronomer, and space research. He initiated the space research, and he was also there in the nuclear power in India. In fact, he was the chairman of Department of Atomic Energy after Homi Bhabha suddenly expired in 60s, 66. So he completed his tripos. Tripos is equivalent to a bachelor degree in the University of Cambridge. And once you complete the tripos, people are able, means they are eligible to start the research work. So he completed his tripos in natural science in 40. And this was a time when World War II started. So he came back to the India. And after 1945, he again went to the University of Cambridge, and he is completed his doctorate. The topic of his thesis was cosmic ray investigation in tropical latitude, and that was the year 1947. And this was the year we got our independence. So he returned back in 47 by the age of 28 years, and he founded international, if we say in today's term, yes, we have institute named Physical Research Laboratory in Ahmedabad, and that was founded by Dr. Vikram Sarabhai in 47, immediately after his returning from Cambridge. And this PRL was founded by his own money. By his own money means he was from the businessman family, and there was one charitable trust which was running in that family. He asked that trust to donate some money so that the PRL can be started. And he started this laboratory in his own house. And today, this PRL is conducting research on cosmic rays, ozone measurement, radio physics, earth planetary science, infrared astronomy, and so many planetary exploration are also going on this month. So this was the beginning. But if you have to ask why Dr. Sarabhai was able to create World Class Institute in India. So he has more than 10 institute in his name. In his when he was there in India, he has created almost 10 institutes, and later on we will see that which are those instruments. So there are three fundamental things which I consider that has helped him to come up with a world-class institution in the science field. He was visionary, and he got very good support of mentors. And he was saying very excellent organizing capacity. And the most important is the ability to convince government on the benefit which space technology can bring. So coming to the visionary, why I say visionary? Because we got independence in 1947, and immediately after this one, the condition at home was not good. We were having shortage of food grains, and we were getting imports from the USA from 1947 to 65. This was the condition, and this condition has somewhat reduction was there in the export, this import requirement, but still our own food grain production in the country was not sufficient to feed our own people. And green revolution come much on the later time, 68, and then from 75 onwards, we became the self-sufficient in food grain production, and now condition is that we are exporting it. So point is here that when he started this one, there was a lot of opposition from the general public that for a poor country like India, there is no relevance of a space program. But Dr. Sarabhai understood because of his visionary nature. He understood that where we can use this space program. So he launched the space program with single objective, and the objective was very simple, that we have to harness space for the national development. So he has attached this space research with the national development, and he was even able to visualize the use of space technology at the time when there was no proven technology was existed at those time. And there is a very beautiful statement when there is strong opposition was there that why to launch the space program in poor country like India. He came with a simple answer. And the answer is there are some who question the relevance of space activities in developing nation. And to us, there is no ambiguity for purpose. We do not have the fantasy of competing with the economically advanced nation in the exploration of moon or the planets or the manned space flight. Why he has said that when this space race was going on, both USA and Russia, they were concentrating on how they will win this technological superiority race. So he came up with a simple statement that we are not going to compete with this economically developed nation. We have to use this space technology for the development of country. So the next point, which is was helpful for Dr. Sarabhai, was he was having a strong support of mentors. Dr. Sarabhai and Dr. Homi Bhabha both were from the same time frame. In fact, Homi Bhabha, who was actually there in the field of atomic energy, he was 10 years senior than the Sarabhai. But both studied in University of Cambridge. And Sarabhai was an experimental researcher, and the Homi Bhabha was theoretical physicist. One is considered as a father of space technology, another one is the father of nuclear technology in India. And the next mentor was Nobel laureate Sir C.V. Raman. Actually, C.V. Raman was his guide during 1940 and 40 to 45. C.V. Raman, Sir C.V. Raman was there in Indian Institute of Space Science, Indian Institute of Science in Bangalore. Sorry. So he started his thesis under C.V. Raman, and 40 to 45 he was with him. Then on the advice of C.V. Raman, he started his further thesis work on with another Nobel laureate, Professor Robert Millikan. So both of them were having for the guide of Sarabhai. Third, the capability, quality which Sarabhai was having, this organizing capacity and ability to convince. When we say ability to convince, the time when there is a shortage of food grain, and Sarabhai was asking money for the space program, so he was able to convince all prime minister of his time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, the first prime minister of India, PM Indira Gandhi. They were both. He was able to convince both of them that we have to start the space activities in India. In the same line, he was saying he was a person of the international stature. He represented. He was the scientific chairman in United Nations for a committee called Outer Space for Peaceful Purpose, and he was also a chairman of atomic energy from '66 onwards. So he has a lot of contribution in the field of atomic energy also. So these are the qualities which I find that he was able to utilize to the full extent. So coming to Sarabhai decade, the first satellite was launched in 1957, and we started our space program in early 60s. Sarabhai picked some hand-picked scientists and engineers, and it was recruited by Sarabhai himself, and he started space activities in India. But there was challenge ahead for the new recruits, because people who are recruited during those time, nobody was having the experience in space technology. They were all were having the knowledge of the academic qualification was there, but practical experience was not there, and no infrastructure was available to start these space activities in India. And the most important challenge was there that people and policymakers are yet to be convinced on the benefit of space technology. So Sarabhai has sent the new recruits to the NASA facilities for training purpose, and he used to send these people, new recruits, to attend the national international conference. And sometimes just he will send the people to meet the expert in the field and get some uh, technical expertise from them. So there are two people who has influenced Dr. Sarabhai in initial time. One is Dr. Rocket in Japan. He is nicknamed as Dr. Rocket. Hideo Itokawa. He has influenced in initial space program of India. And another person is Jacques Blamont. He was from France. In fact, he for the first launch of sounding rocket, he brought his uh, payload from France, and the government of India has given awarded Padma Shri in 2015 for his contribution for India in initial phase of space research. So Sarabhai himself was actually he was from the natural science field, and cosmic rays was this topic in the research. So Sarabhai came with an idea that in India, the magnetic equator passes from the Trivandrum, and because of this proximity of with magnetic equator, some unique geophysical phenomena which are happening at 110 kilometer above the magnetic equator. This can be studied from Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launch Station, and this is the place near Trivandrum in west coast of India. So first sounding rocket opportunity was provided by Sarabhai, but we were not having any rocket at those time. And at the same time, the COSPAR, which is actually Committee for Space Research Global Committee, has asked the countries that we should establish the sounding rocket launch station near magnetic equator. So Sarabhai came with an idea that Tumba can be used for the launching the sounding rockets, and he is given a opportunity to international community that anyone can come to the Tumba and they can launch their sounding rocket, because at those time India was not having any sounding rocket technology with them. So this started the collaboration of international community in Indian space program at Tumba. So countries like USA, Britain, France, Russia, they all came and started launching their own sounding rockets from Tumba. So even though USA and Russia were the bitter enemies, but Sarabhai could bring them in the space program, in the Indian space program. In 1968, this Tumba was dedicated to United Nations, and any nation from the any country from the United Nations were able to come and launch their satellite from the Tumba. So what is sounding rocket actually? This is the simplest form of rocket, and mostly it uses a solid propellant. And the name of before rocket, there is a word sounding is put here. So if you just see the nautical science, in nautical science, the word to sound is used used for the purpose of measurement. So it is used for the measurement of certain parameters. So here sounding rocket is used for the upper atmospheric studies, and sometimes prototype subsystem testing for the launch vehicle also is carried out. So we can launch a sounding rocket, can go up to a height of 500 kilometers. The typical solid motor, if you just see the right hand picture, bottommost part is a rocket motor, and on the top side there is a payload is kept. So payload can be there for the upper atmospheric study, or sometimes the subsystem testing which has to be done at the upper at certain altitude, that also can be good. So if you see the simple configuration of a solid motor, the top and the left extreme side one igniter is shown. Inside this one, grains are there. Grains is nothing but a solid propellant, and there is a cavity is there that is called port. And this there should be some insulation. It should also be there, because when the propellant will burn, heat will be generated. So this heat should not melt the rocket casing, and at the end there is a nozzle will be there. But there is a limitation on the solid motor on this sounding rockets, because the sounding rocket cannot be used to launch satellite into orbit, because these are the unguided vehicles. And to launch a satellite, we need a guided vehicle, because we have to launch a satellite in a precise orbit. So just to explain the solid motor function, this is a simple concept is there. At the left hand side, we have igniter is there, and this color is shown as propellant is there. So once igniter is started, it will produce the jet, hot jet will be produced, and further hot jet will pass through the cavity, and the propellant will start burning, and then it will pass through the nozzle. So with the second law of Newton says the rate of change of momentum will force, and this force will act on in the opposite direction as per Newton's third law, and such force will be produced, and the rocket will move ahead. So the first sounding rocket was launched in 63 from Tulsa, and this was a international collaboration was there. NASA supplied their rocket named Nike Apache. It was a two-stage sounding rocket. First stage was Nike, and second stage was named as Apache. And France has supplied sodium vapor payload, and countries like Russia, they have supplied the computer needed for the taking the computer as well as taking center. So it was a collaboration of India, USA, France, Russia. Everyone was there during the first launch of sounding rocket from India. So actually, what actually this purpose of this launch, there will be one payload will be there on top of this one, and this payload will have the sodium vapor. So once the payload is reaching at the required altitude, the sodium vapor will be will be allowed to come out of the vessels, and it will produce fluorescence vapor kind of thing. And this will be tracked from the ground. And if you take the measurement from 3 different locations, we can find out what is the velocity, upper atmospheric velocity is there. So that was the first payload from the Tulsa. Similarly, British also came, and they started also launching their own satellite on sounding rocket, and the Centaur sounding rocket from France was also launched. And in fact, this Centaur sounding rocket was licensed production was also done in India. And to make this rocket, we started our own rocket propellant plant and rocket fabrication facility. This both facilities were there in the Tumba. They still, as we speak today, also these both facilities are working. The most important, or we can say the rocket which ruled the sky of Tulsa was M100 sounding rocket, and this was from the Russia. And this is a 2-stage rocket is there, and which can take 40 kg of mass to the required altitude. And from 70 to 1993, this was rocket was running successfully, and every Wednesday we'll have one launch. And till now, till the 1993, we have more than 1,100 rockets from the Tumba Equatorial Launch Station. So we learned most of things from the initial learning was there from the sounding rocket coming from the Russia, from the France, from the we started our own sounding rocket, and this sounding rocket was named Rohini RH-75. So Rohini 75. 75 is the diameter of this rocket, and this was capable of taking 7 kg weight into altitude of 600. This was a very small sounding rocket, but this was the beginning of sounding rocket in Indian space program. So you see that there was no facilities were available at those time people were making payloads and the rockets at the same facility which was established in Tumba. And they were carrying all those things through bicycle or whatever means was available for launching. You can see one photograph of our Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam when he was there in Tumba, and they are fixing a sounding rocket before it has to be launched. This was there in 60s. So as we speak today we have from RH 200 to RH 560 Mark II sounding rockets are there, and all these are operational sounding rockets, and they are used for the study of meteorology, middle atmosphere, and it can go up to ionosphere also, 550 kilometers it can go. But there is a limitation is there. You can do only upper atmospheric study with the sounding rocket. You cannot launch your own satellite that kind of stuff from the sounding rocket. So Sarabhai came up with a idea that we should have one launch station from where we can launch the satellite. So Sri Harikota range, which is the only space force in India, was established. And to convince the policymaker that now we have to start space activities in the field of launch vehicle and satellite technology, he came up with an idea that to convince the government, how to convince this government that these are really needed. They started with a TV program called Krishi Darshan to convince the government that this space technology can be used for the education of farmers. So they started one program, and then of course we were not having any satellite or launch vehicle at those time. Government was convinced, and they had given a go ahead with the fabrication of satellite and the broadcasting activity. So Sarabhai had signed an agreement with the NASA to start satellite instructional television experiment. This was there in the 68. So NASA provided their satellite for broadcasting activity. So initial this program was started with the educational purpose or the mass communication tool. So there were community TVs were there where this it will be people from nearby place will come and watch the TV, and socially relevant messages were also passed through this TV program. So site was this program was for utilization of satellite for TV broadcasting and communication. But we lost Dr. Sarabhai at the age of 52, and he has a great contribution in the field of science and atomic energy. More than this, you can just see 10 institutes are there which was established by Dr. Sarabhai. And some of the institutes are PRL, Indian Institute of Management, which is there in Ahmedabad, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, which is now in Trivandrum, Space Application Center, Ahmedabad. In the field of atomic energy, he established Fast Breeder Reactor, Variable Energy Cyclone Project in Calcutta, Electronic Corporation, UNM Corporation, and so on. So, great contribution from Dr. Sarabhai, considered as a father of Indian space program. So what next? Who will take care of space activity in India after Sarabhai? So now we started a different era under Professor Satish Dhawan. And Professor Satish Dhawan was director of IISc Bangalore. And he is considered as a father of experimental fluid dynamic research in India. So the well-known contribution from Professor Satish Dhawan are the establishment of the Space Commission and the starting of the Department of Space. He transferred the Sarabhai vision into the vibrant organization called ISRO. Initial satellites development activity for first satellite of India, which was developed by India, was Aryabhatta, was designed, developed under his tenure. Bhaskara was launched under his tenure. And first satellite launch vehicle was also developed in his tenure. So ISRO started complex project management under his chairmanship. And technical review, the contribution from Sarabhai was that he started technical review of project. by the outside profession. So he will involve people from other area also, so that transparency and accountability can be established in the project management. And he was excellent leadership quality was there. He has seen many failures in early days, and he was treating employee union as a partner in the overall activity. So we started our initial satellite program with the satellite called Aryabhatta. In fact, this we got a free launch opportunity from USSR because they were we have very good collaboration from Russia from the initial phase stage. So they allowed us to launch, gave us a free launch opportunity. So we have made our first satellite Aryabhatta, and this was fully designed, developed within our own country. The weight of satellite was 360 kg, and this payload was there for the science research. It was having X-ray astronomy, aeronomy, and solar physics. It was launched in April 1975 from the Russia. So what lesson we have learned from the first satellite, that we were able to have our own indigenous capability in satellite technology. We could design, develop, and operate the satellite because launch was done by Russia, but it's still the operation part we got experience in that way. If you just see, notice some of the people may be having the idea that in 2 rupee notes there was one satellite, and that satellite was Aryabhatta satellite. Next satellite which was launched was Bhaskara, and this was actually again launched from the Russia. And the objective of this satellite was to have Earth observation experiment in meteorology, hydrology, forestry, and of course, ocean surface studies was also carried out. So this was the second satellite, but the purpose was totally different. One was for the X-ray astronomy, other was for the Earth observation. Here you can see third opportunity which came to the India in 76 and 77. European space agencies were developing their own launcher called Ariane launcher, and they floated one opportunity for the international community that we will give one free ride opportunity for anyone to give their satellite. We will launch free of cost from our own Ariane launcher. Of course, that was a development flight of their rocket. So more than 70 proposals were received by Ariane, and our proposal was selected for the free launch opportunity. So India took this opportunity. That shows that the majority of our proposal which was given, and out of 70 proposal, our proposal was taken. So this was the first experimental communication satellite sent by India. So here in the picture you can see satellite named Apple was put on the bullock cart, and this picture went viral in the American magazine. They have captioned this picture as that this is a collision of culture in which between the tail of ox and the sophisticated apple lay centuries. So why we are keeping this satellite and bullock cart? There is a interesting story is there. Actually, the satellite was having some technical problem, and scientists, technologists wanted to test that after the correction of problem, they want to check whether the reception of signal is okay or not. So they wanted to have an area where the magnetic influence is not there. So they took the satellite and bullock cart and tested that telemetry and taking related issue, whether it is solved or not. So there was no, the resource availability was of course not there at those time. And this satellite was launched from the Ariane, and the one picture on the right hand side, you can see that the satellite, our satellite is sandwiched in between the two satellites. So what lesson we have learned from this Apple, which was a free launch opportunity by Ariane, that we could acquire the necessary expertise in the telecommunication satellite. And this expertise will come handy when we started our INSET program in the 90s. So India used all this opportunity, free launch opportunity provided by various countries, and acquired experience in making the satellite, in operating the satellite, all those areas which were relevant at those times. So as we come, as you see today, now we have seen the satellite development status in early phase. Coming to the launch vehicle development, we have initial development, which is called the experimental launch vehicle. We were having two launch vehicle named SLV3 and ASLV. And as we speak today, we have three operational launch vehicle. Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle is one launch vehicle. Another one is the GSLV Mark II and GSLV Mark III. GSLV Mark III is the latest entrant in the line. So why this sounding rocket and launch vehicle? What is the difference actually? So it is given here. Sounding rockets are simple actually. You can see that there are only two stages are there and it's very small in size. But if you just see the launch vehicle, they are massive, complex, and need expertise of over a dozen of field of science and technology. You just name a field of science and technology, everything will be there in the rocket science. And sounding rockets can be assembled in a short notice. Means even from same launch station, you can launch multiple rockets in same day. But if you have to launch a launch vehicle, it needs month of preparation. In fact, PSLV takes more than 2.5 months from the beginning to end. Sounding rockets are used for the payload can be a scientific or technology package in the sounding rocket, and the payload in launch vehicle can be satellite or probes. Sounding rockets can go on up to a few hundred of altitude, whereas the launch vehicle can put a satellite in geostationary orbit, which is 36,000 kilometers from Earth. If you say the moon, it is more than 3 lakh kilometers. Mars, 400 million kilometers. So sounding rockets are unguided, means you cannot take a payload and put precisely into an orbit, whereas the launch vehicle will inject the required payload into required orbit. The first launch vehicle developed by India was a satellite launch vehicle. The name of launch vehicle SLV, it was named as SLV3, and this was the first launch vehicle of ISRO. So we had 4 initial launch of SLV, and initial 2 flights were unsuccessful. There were a lot of criticism and pressure was there during those time. People were have started once again asking the relevance of space program in India for the country like India. So third and fourth launch was successful, and with that one, the SLV program was completed. And the first successful launch was there in 79. 79 was unsuccessful. Second was also, so last program was 83 was there. So with the launch of SLV3, India entered in elite club of spacefaring nation, and we became the 6th country in the world with the ability to make the launch vehicle and satellite also. So if you see as we speak today also, there not much of additions are there. USA, Russia, Japan, China, and European Space Agency. These are the things. These are the spacefaring nation, and now we become 6th nation in this one. And latest entrant are Israel, Iran, and North Korea. So here two beautiful small clips are there. One clip was from Dr. Abdul Kalam. He was there actually during SLV3 time. He was project director as well as mission director. So one message on failure management, then initial failure, how they could tackle those things. So a small clip is there. We'll just play it.
Excuse me, sir. The video is not visible actually to us.
Not visible, sir. Video whether is, sir, video is visible there.
Probably it is taking some time, sir. It's a black screen right now.
Okay, sir. I will wait, sir.
Not visible, sir, yet.
Okay, I will 1 second try, sir. 1 second. Let me just. Is it visible, sir?
No, sir.
Thousands of people work nearly 10 years.
Is it visible, sir?
Not still, sir. The black screen is visible.
Sir, please share once again. Just disable sharing and once again share it, sir.
Just wait, sir. Now the screen is visible, sir.
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Now whether video is coming there?
No, sir.
SLV-3 satellite launch vehicle, I was the project director, mission director. My mission is to put the satellite in the orbit. Thousands of people work nearly 10 years.
I am sharing actually, sir.
I reached the Sriharikota.
We are hearing sound, sir, but
Additional
video
launch
clip
pad.
is not
Countdown
available.
was going on.
1 second. Let me try 1 second, sir.
Yeah, sure, sir. No problem, sir. It seems to be very interesting video of Dr. Abdul Kalam.
Let me start 1 second, sir.
Sorry, sir, but it is not still visible, sir.
Sorry, whether it started initially or problem started later on time.
No, it was not visible since initially, sir.
Oh. I thought, sir, it is coming actually. That was. I hope some issues there. Yeah. This is visible, sir. Is it visible there, sir?
No, sir, not at all, sir.
Sir, I think you have shared the window. You have to, if you have shared screen, then it will visible.
Who assembled here, all of
Now whether is it visible, sir?
So black screen is visible.
Screen is visible.
So black screen is visible.
Okay. Now whether screen is visible, sir? Whether video is visible there, sir?
No, sir. No, sir. Only black screen is visible.
I don't know how to solve this problem.
Thousands of
Sir, during the testing, we had the same problem. So what we did is, I told you to share your screen. So just share your screen, sir, instead of sharing the window. Actually, you are sharing the window, sir.
1 minute, sir. Let me 1 second try.
Yeah, yeah. Please, you unshare and then share again and share the screen, sir. So it will be visible, sir.
Now it is visible, sir?
I will give an incident. This is all of you who have assembled here, all of you. Remember this incident. 1979.
Now whether is visible, sir?
No, sir. Only black screen is visible.
Sir, there is one solution. If you can share that link with us, I can play that video from my end.
Okay, okay, sir. That I will share, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Please share the link with us.
Where to share, sir?
Please share, sir, on WhatsApp of Ram, sir. Ram, sir, will share with me.
Okay,
Or
okay.
Ram, sir, can also share the same, sir.
Okay, okay.
राम सर आप शेयर कर रहे हैं क्या?
सर मेरे पास
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. I have to share. But I have shared with I have shared with I am sharing with Ram sir.
Okay, sir, no problem, sir. Dear students, we have informed to your concerned faculty members, so you can join the class later on at 3:20 also. The lecture is about to over, just few minutes. These two videos are very interesting. Please see these two videos.
Ram sir, please confirm whether you got the video.
sir, you have mailed me or WhatsApp me?
WhatsApp, sir. WhatsApp. I have sent through WhatsApp.
No, sir, still not.
Sir, can we take some questions from the students?
Yes, we can, sir. We can.
Yeah. During that part of time, dear students, anybody is having any question, you can raise your hand, right?
Ram sir, I have sent. Please check it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have received.
So can you play first video, sir?
Yes, sir.
After this video, we'll take questions, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. No problem, sir. No problem.
And you will instead. This is all of you who are assembled here, all of you.
My screen is visible?
Yes, visible, sir.
Okay. I am directly shared from WhatsApp only. Okay.
And you will instead. This is all of you who are assembled here, all of you.
Remember this incident. 1979. 1979. SLV-3 satellite launch vehicle. I was the project director, mission director. My mission is to put the satellite in the orbit. Thousands of people worked nearly 10 years. I reached the Sriharikota and it's in the launch pad. Countdown was going on. T minus 4 minutes, T minus 5 minutes, T minus 1 minute, T minus 40 seconds. Computer put a hold. Don't launch it. Computer says don't launch it. I am the mission director. I have to take decision. Everything is on. Behind me, there are 6 experts. They saw computer database coming in and screen, and they see the pictures in the screen. They said there's a problem. The problem is there's a leakage in the control system. But immediately they calculate the problem. We have got sufficient fuel and control system is controls the rocket to the required altitude, and we can go ahead. Now, of course, my expert's view, but I took the decision. Problem is mine. Finally, I took a decision. I bypassed the computer. I launched it. Okay, this fellow went. First stage worked in a 4-stage rocket, and second stage got mad. It went to spin. Instead of putting the satellite in the orbit, it put in the Bay of Bengal. 1979, it was a failure. It was a failure. First time I experienced my failure. How do you manage the failure? Success I can manage. So at that time, a great man, a great leader, also Satish Dhawan, he comes to me, I'm very tired working nearly for months. He wakes me up, come, let us go for a press conference. Press is meeting there, like this, number of people, world press, with photos, this and that, all the gadgets, they are there. I was really frightened. I will be the culprit because I'm the project director, mission director. What Satish Dhawan said, Chairman, Indian Space Research Organization said, dear friends, we have failed today. It's the first time I have to give all the success, all the failure is, I want to support my technologists and scientists and staff so that next year they succeed. So he took the whole blame himself. And then media asked, you have put Bay of Bengal so many crores, you have put it like that, lot of criticism. He received the criticism. We assured them in a year we will succeed with our team. It's a very good team. Next year, here only interesting happened. Next year, July 18th, 1980, when he succeeded, Professor Dhawan said, you go and conduct the press conference. Do you follow what it means? It means when the failure occurred, the leader took it up. When the success came, he used his team. That's the first.
So that was a message from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir, audible.
So if any question is there, we can take it, sir.
Yeah, dear students, if you want to ask respected Amresh sir any question, you can ask right away, right?
Sir, second video we have to play.
Just 1 minute, sir. I will take 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Before.
Okay.
So the next footage is for the SLV3 launch, and this clip will give an idea that the dedication of scientists and technologists at those times, and the faith and courage shown by the government of India on the scientist community. And the launch of SLV3 also give an idea that this was the last launch, but the blueprint for the future launch vehicle, that is PSLV and GSLV, was ready by ASLV and PSLV was ready by chairman of ISRO at those time. Professor Satish Dhawan was the chairman. So sir, with this one we can play, sir. With this introduction, we can just play this clip also.
Okay, sir.
Sriharikota, Sunday, 17th April. A great day for India as the nation prepares to launch an advanced developmental satellite and soar higher into space. The 23-meter-long four-stage SLV-3 rocket is to put a 41.5-kilogram Rohini satellite into an elliptical orbit. The computer carries out checks on 600 parameters before the launching. To the mission team of 800 scientists and technicians, this is a day of great expectations. For on this success depends future achievements.
2 minutes 30 seconds. ODC confirmed power engines to power all batteries and regulators normal.
The pre-launching operations are viewed with bated breath by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Mr. N.T. Ramarao, a number of scientists and technicians, and members of the press.
Blockhouse TM2. Go ahead TM2 blockhouse. Momentary out of lock of TM2. All systems stand by for the time mark.
The launch vehicle technology involves several branches of science and engineering. 43 major industries have contributed to the building of the rocket, with 44 major systems and 250 subsystems.
All stations stand by for the time mark. This is mission control.
As the countdown begins, every second adds to the excitement.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A triumphant smile as the rocket streaks into the blue. The success of this venture stabilizes India's stature as a member of the Seven Nations Satellite Club.
For reconfirmation of orbit from Trivandrum ground station. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Meeting the press after the launching, Mrs. Indira Gandhi says,
not for the pride of it, but in order to serve something much bigger, that is for the good and the welfare of the people of India. Because each such experiment gives us greater knowledge and information which can be used by the common man, especially by the farmers and peasants. If we know more about the weather, more about the monsoon, more about the land and the ocean around India, this will be of enormous help to planners, to cultivators, producers, even to housewives and others. This was the first time I'm actually at a site. And as I said, I was thrilled, excited, and proud. I should like to congratulate the brilliant young men whom you have met here and the other men and women who have been working on this project day and night for many months.
Speaking on our future plans, Professor Satish Dhawan, Chairman, Indian Space Research Organization.
The advanced launch vehicle of the augmented SLV and the Polo launch vehicle. The first of these will launch about 150 kilograms into orbit. The VSLV, which is really a large one, will be able to place about 1,000 kilograms into sun-synchronous orbit.
That's over, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. So, dear
So, sir-
students, do you have any questions to sir?
So, sir, before we start the question, I just wanted to inform that another 10-15 minutes will be required to, if we have to finish now, we need just 10 to 15 minutes. And if time is not there, we can take the question answer as you wish.
Sir, actually, the students will be having their other classes, so we have to stop here. Ram sir, what do you say about this?
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for sharing your time and give the information about the space program of India. And now I invite Professor Rajat Jain for vote of thanks.
Before going for vote of thanks, I am asking last time to any student who is having any doubt regarding this expert lecture, because sir as a student also can guide us. He has been the student of Medicaps University. Sir, actually, I am having one doubt regarding this
Please, sir.
lecture. Yes, sir. Sir, ISRO every year conducts one test for getting the scientist in as a scientist for the post of scientist.
Yes, sir.
Sir, so can you throw some light onto this? Sir, what subjects the students should focus of ECE and mechanical to crack that particular test?
Yes. So first, this is actually it is actually core courses only will be touched in this exam, and it's an objective based testing scheme is there. So the core area has to be touched, and the past year question also will be available on net. It is put on the ISRO website also. People can just go through the website and find out the last year question also. So anyone who is preparing for the competitive exam like GATE and other thing, they can definitely attempt this one, and that is the way to go ahead for them.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome,
So I am very grateful to express my sincere thanks to our today's speaker and Medicaps alumni first batch, respected Dinesh Amresh sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your knowledgeable PPT, knowledgeable talk you had today about the Indian space program. In a nutshell, you have expressed all the things regarding the entire program from where we started and now where we are. And surely our students will utilize this knowledge for their ongoing study as well, because some of the students are studying right now in the electronics and communication engineering, satellite communication as their subject. So definitely this will be very, very helpful for them. Further, I would like to express my thanks to Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir Dr. D.K. Patnaik and Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor Sir Dr. D.K. Panda and Alumni Cell Advisor Professor Jayesh Barve sir and Alumni Association member and proposer of this event, Ms. Avni Subedar ma'am, for their valuable guidance so that this alumni expert talk could be arranged successfully. And at last, I would like to thank all the respected faculty members who are present over here and the dear students to gain this knowledge. Thank you very much for your presence in the meeting. And surely in the upcoming days, we will have such meetings in more in common. And I would request Dinesh Amresh sir, if it is possible, to give his lecture on the rocket propulsion, because satellite communication is one of the prime subject of electronics and communication in person, I mean in offline mode, if it is possible.
Of course, sir. We'll definitely find out the common ground where we can move further.
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks. Sir.
Thank you, sir, and thank you all who are present today. Thank you.
I request to everyone, please switch on your camera. I want to take a picture of that. Please. Everyone, please switch on your camera.
Yeah, please, everyone, please, the faculty members, respected faculty members, please switch on your camera.
Sir, I am not able to switch on my camera. Some issues there.
No problem, sir.
Any question is there, we can take in a later time also, sir. My number is there, so no issue. I think the time available is not sufficient to do justice with the topic. So we'll come up later time and have some more time so that we can have in 2 sessions, that way also we can do it.
Sir, actually, Ram sir,
yes,
we have not allowed them to on their video. Please give the permission, sir.
1 second, sir. Now, sir, I am allowed them.
Yeah, everybody can now switch on their video, please. The faculty members and the students also, please.
Pranam Barve sir. Pranam sir, Barve sir.
सर बर्वे सर को परमिशन दीजिएगा सर.
हाँ, 1 second, sir, 1 second. Yes, sir.
Pranam Barve sir.
Hello Dinesh, how are you?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
I am also fine. तुम्हारा मुझे वीडियो दिखता नहीं है.
Oh, sir, मेरी वीडियो में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है शायद सर, because I am not able to connect it.
Very good.
Now I think.
बाकी आप बहुत अच्छा लगा आपका टॉक. मैं सुन तो नहीं पाया पूरा, जस्ट मैं आखिरी 15 मिनट्स के लिए ज्वाइन हो पाया.
No issue, sir.
So I wish कि आप आने वाले कुछ महीनों के अंदर यहाँ के मेडिकल के स्टूडेंट्स को कुछ और मोटिवेट करने के लिए कुछ और 1-2 घंटे का अगर टाइम निकाल पाए, that will be beneficial for all these students.
Sure sir. It's my pleasure. आप जब भी बोलेंगे आप तैयार हैं सर.
Okay. That's so nice of you, dear.
Thank you, sir.
And best of luck for your future endeavor.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Is it done, Ram sir?
Yes, sir. Done.
So thanks a lot, everyone. We can end this meeting. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Thank you, sir.